Okay, so to make this pumpkin wreath, you will need this wire pumpkin frame. I got mine at Hobby Lobby for like $5, but if you don't have a Hobby Lobby or yours is sold out, you can get them on Amazon, and I'll link to that. You're going to need some fabric. Really, any fabric of your choice is fine, but I preferred the kind of sweater look to this, so I got a waffle knit fabric. It's a 1/4 yard, so basically I just bought half a yard of fabric and cut it in half. Just kind of some embellishments to pretty up your pumpkin, whatever you want. I saw these, thought they were pretty, grabbed them. Ribbon, really anything of your choice will work. You just want to make sure that it is wire edged ribbon. Some twine just to attach everything with, and then you need a hot glue gun and some hot glue. Alright, let's get started. So, I'm going to move some of this stuff out of the way. Okay. So unfold your fabric. Kind of lay it out flat. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the pumpkin upside down, sort of at the top. Let me change this angle just a little bit for you guys. So you want to place it sort of at the top of your fabric so that when you're done, this, let me turn this around and kind of show you what we're going to be going with. So that when you're done, this stem of your pumpkin sticks out. Okay, so we're going to put this at the top a little bit, and we're going to put some hot glue on the top of our fabric here, and then we're going to fold it over and stick it to the other side of our fabric. So let's make sure we're in the middle. We're good. Make sure the hot glue is hot. It's not quite all the way there, but it'll do. Make sure I have this on low temp also. Okay. So, I'm going to put my glue here, and then I'm going to fold it over. Okay, now you do have to push this together. It is hot, so wear gloves or be gentle, however you want to get that on there. Then we're going to come and do the exact same thing on the other side. Okay. So we've got it started. Now you just continue this around the perimeter of your pumpkin. I'm going to speed it up and get all this in here. Okay, so once you get the top, I've done this one, and this one over here. I've done this one, and this one over here. So this is, the top part of the pumpkin. Once you get that done, don't come over here and do these sides yet, because we need to take our fabric and pull it taut so that when we're done with our whole pumpkin, see, if you don't pull it tight, you can't really see you can see them, but you want that really tight effect. See the difference there? So, turn this back over and cut off any excess down at the bottom at this point that you're not going to need. If you roll your pumpkin up, you can see where it's going to hit. So I know I can cut off about, can y'all even see? I can cut off about this much fabric at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and do that just to make this easier to work with. Okay, so again, we're going to take this, roll the pumpkin down, make sure this is even and tight, and then I'm going to glue. I didn't even cut off enough, but it'll be all right. I'm going to put my glue here and I'm going to fold it over while I'm holding this nice and tight. So let me push this up a little. Glue here. Pick it up. Fold it over. Let that sit. Okay, and now you can see how good and tight the frame of my pumpkin is going to be. And I'm going to continue with the bottom in that same way, holding the pumpkin up, pulling the fabric tight, and gluing each piece. So my next glue is going to go right here. Pull it tight, glue it on. Okay, then I'm going to switch to the other side, pulling all the fabric as tight as I can pull it. Glue. And adhere it. And again, I've got my pumpkin standing upright. It's hard to see that on camera, but it is not laying flat. It is standing upright, and I'm just balancing it with my fingers here. And I have a cat who, I don't know what she's doing over there. She's pawing at some paper. We'll just let her do her thing. Okay. I'm going to continue with the pulling and the gluing. You do switch hands here. You can see I pulled this fabric over here, and I'm just going to glue it in. I'm going to pull this fabric taut over here, and I'm going to glue it in. Okay, I've made it to the ends now, and I again have some excess fabric. I'm just going to cut it off. I don't need it. Okay, so I've kind of folded all that in there. I'm going to flip it over and see how it's looking to make sure that I don't have any folds or creases that are unattractive. You're going to have some because, I mean, this is a round object, but whatever you have, you want it to be attractive. Okay. So I'm just playing with the folds. This is one fold that I want to keep, so I'm going to glue it together. Let me stick another glue stick in here. Okay. So I'm going to put a little glue here. Glue this fold to the material next to it so it stays there. Okay. I'm just going to continue gluing in. Okay, so that side is all glued in, and there's that part of my pumpkin. Now I'm just going to repeat the process on the other side. Okay. Okay, so I have all of the fabric on the pumpkin now. And you can see it's just glued in back here. You don't want to glue, if there's excess stuff, don't glue it in the middle because you'll see that glue. Keep your glue, you know, around the edges like we had done there. I did put some actually on the metal here and on the metal here just to really, really hold those sides in place. Okay, so that's what we're working with as far as this pumpkin. We're going to set it aside now and we're going to build the bow. Okay, so here's my ribbon. I have another tutorial that will teach how to build this bow. So I'm going to do it a little quickly here, and I will link to the other tutorial on how to build this, but I will build it here too, just so that you can see how it goes. So I have the smaller ribbon put over the larger ribbon. You don't have to do a double layer bow. You can do a single layer bow. And I have folded out about what I think I want the middle portion of my bow to be. This is excess. I'm going to use it later, so I'm just going to cut this off for now. I want it to cut straight. Okay. Okay, I'm going to use that later to make the middle of my bow. Yeah, I think that'll be good. That should be good. Okay. Oh, my ribbon fell on the floor. Okay, and for this, I just measured out about 48 inches of ribbon. And I'm just going to take it and start wrapping it around itself like this. And I'm going to push it together in the middle. And then these parts are going to pull out of the sides, and I'm going to have 3 on one side and 3 on the other. I'm going to go ahead and build this bow off camera and link to the video on how to do this, and I'll come back when I've got it built. Okay, so as I started making this bow for you guys, I realized I had ran out of zip ties. So I had to use floral wire. That's why I have all that on there, and it's why I didn't build it on camera for you. You can use floral wire. It's just as good as zip ties. It's just harder to do. Okay, so now I'm going to finish fluffing out this bow so you can see how it's all going to look. Come here, you. Get out of there. Okay. I do really suggest, though, going to watch that video on how to make this bow, because it is really easy to make. And prettier if you don't have to use the floral wire. You can see that from the top. It's not going to be the greatest, but okay. Now I'm just going to fishtail the ends of my bows. There is one. And I show how to do this also in the tutorial, the other one that I'm going to link, so I'm not really taking a bunch of time to show how this is done. Okay. So there is my bow, all complete. Now let's get this bad boy on the pumpkin. Okay. Pumpkin. But you just kind of get that in camera so you can see. You just kind of play with it to position it wherever you think it's going to look best, and then you hot glue it on. So let's see, is that in frame for y'all? Yeah. So I'm going to put my hot glue on the back of the bow here, and I'm going to push it to not only the fabric but also the metal parts of the wreath frame. So let's see if I can hold all this. There we go. Okay, so let's go into the fabric now. Afraid to touch it, I don't want to burn myself. Okay, so it's loosely It's loosely on there now. You can see that it's not going to come off right now. But we want to make sure it's really secure, so I'm just going to go back and really glue this guy in from all angles. So I'm going to come get underneath here, drop in some more glue, glue that down. And I'm going to get underneath here, drop in some more glue, glue that down. Then I'm going to come in from the back and I'm going to push in all this stuff that I have just glued down. Okay. And now is the part where I'm going to glue it to the metal frame. I'm putting glue on the bow and gluing the bow to the metal. If you don't glue it to the metal frame, it'll kind of flop around with the fabric. That one's on there. Now I just want to get this side. You see how I've taken the bow right here? I'm just going to put some glue right there on the bow and push it to the metal frame. Okay, so that should be on there pretty good. I'm going to let that dry a little bit more. Okay, so here it is from the front. And now, like what happened to my ribbon there. Now I'm going to put in my little pumpkin decorations. I'm going to adjust the camera just a little bit to make sure, well, I'll just turn the pumpkin upside down actually, and then it can all be in frame for you. Perfect. All right, pumpkins. Let's see. Ooh, that's plastic. I thought it was like a felt. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing with these yet. I'm going to play with it. Okay, so after playing around with it some, I decided I did not like the look of the pumpkins glued directly onto the wreath. So what I did was take some twine and glued the twine onto the back of the pumpkin. Let that sit for just a second. Okay, well that's kind of drying. And then I started placing the pumpkins up into the bow hanging off of the twine. And I liked the way that looked a lot better. Once I get this last one on, I'm going to put it over here. I'll hang this up and I'll show you how it looks when it's all done. Okay, so here's the pumpkins kind of hanging from the twine. I am not thrilled with having to use this wire, so I'm toying with the idea of either putting some extra material or ribbon or something on the top of it. I don't really know, but let me put this on the wall and I'll show you guys how it looks hanging up.